for a second. Hello, whoever's there. I'm going to put the camera back on in just a second. Give me a minute. Hello. Whoever just came into the chat. Hello. I see people coming in. I'm going to be up just a second. I'm coming. Get pretty just a second. How y'all doing this evening? How y'all doing? Okay, Miss Vanessa, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Slim Jim. How you doing this evening, sweetie? How's that shoulder? I hope that shoulder doing better than what it was. That's good. People getting acquainted. I love it. I love it. Yeah, my day has been kind of tiresome because I worked today. Well, actually last night. Didn't get home until I think 7 o'clock this morning. And baby, once I got in that house, I hit that bed. I hit that bed so hard it was crazy. And I didn't wake up until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The job that I have is very competitive, but hey, everything's competitive in life, right? Everything. Especially life in general. Yep. I see 9 people in here. It says 9 people in here, but I don't see 9 people in here. So they must be in the bushes. Out from the bushes. You don't have to be in the bushes. I'm not going to bite. I would never do that. I would never bite. I'll never bite you. I'm not that type of person. I'm very loving. Very loving, very caring. Here go my face. Y'all see my face. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How you doing? But it said on my community post that I'm supposed to be up at 6 o'clock. I'm a little bit behind, but I'm sorry about that. Let me close this door. Bring some more people in the chat. Only 3 people in the chat? Come on, guys. Come on. Y'all want to have an interesting I have an interesting topic for tonight. Ain't nobody else gonna come in the chat? Hmm. Ain't nobody else coming in the chat? Maybe if I start talking, then maybe people gonna start coming in the chat. I don't know. Gosh, only 2 people? Well, hello, Bear Products. How you doing? How you doing this evening? Hope you doing good. Oh my God, I got something in my eye. Oh my God. That's the first I'm ever getting something in my eye. How you doing this evening? Mm, okay. Got 5 likes and 15 people in the bushes. Come on out the bushes if you want to come out. I'm doing good. I'm blessed. I'm always blessed. Every day, all day. That's all you can be, right? Well, hello, studios. How you doing? How you doing? How's your evening going? How's your day going? My day's going. My evening's going good. Gains, birth or length? I don't know what you mean by that. What do you mean by birth or length? I don't know what you mean by that. You gotta be more specific than that. I can't answer that question. Birth or length? I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes and then I'm gonna start my topic, which is choose to move on. That's my topic for this evening. Choose to move on. Choose to move on. Well, it's gonna be a quick few minutes. Okay, let me get started on the topic. Says nobody else is popping in at the moment, but they might be coming in a minute. They probably got other stuff that's going on YouTube right now. Okay, like I said, the topic is going to be choosing to move on. And basically, depending on the situation that you're in, hot dog, hmm. Mm. But choose to move on. Basically, the topic about that is basically depending on what situation you in, it's up to you if you ready, if you choose to move on. Friendship, relationship, partnership, anything in life that you might have had, and you have to make a decision if you choose to move on or not. Hey Lily, how you doing? And if you choose move on or not, because you have a choice if you want to move on or not. Basically, the choice is up to you because nobody else can make that choice but you. So let me get started. That was not polite. Oh my God. Really? I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing good. So let me get started on this topic so we can have a discussion about it. Thank you for the hearts, whoever's doing that. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, here goes. Not simply from the people who have hurt you, but from a painful memories. Hey Tina, how you doing? Hi Shamika, how you doing? Welcome guys, welcome. Let me start from the beginning again. Not simply from people who have hurt you, but from painful memories and anything that brings you down or makes you lose self-confidence. You choose to move on for the sake of well-being and the future of happiness. Hey Glenn, how you doing? Okay, let me say hello to everybody. Vanessa, I don't know if she's still in here. Studios, I don't know if he's still in here. Gaines, I don't know who he is. I don't know who this person right here is. Let's get him out. Lily, how you doing? Miss Tina, how you doing? Miss Shamika, how you doing? Glenn, how you doing? Yes. Choose to move on for the sake of wellness and future happiness. To let go of the things that you have been holding on to. You basically have been holding you back and preventing you from moving forward. Choose to move on so you can make space in your heart for new incredible people and experiences. Choose to move on when you feel you no longer belong in the previous spaces you prohibited, as there is so much that lies ahead and so much to look forward to. Once ahead, no, ahead and so much to look forward to once you find the courage to let go. Now, we have a lot of things that we hold on to, like our past, our jobs, um, anything that's old that represent us, we're gonna hold on to it. But sometimes in life, and another thing, a relationship that you probably been in for maybe about 10 years, maybe to 10 to 20 years, that you hold on to. But a part of you don't want to. Oh, E-Money on the beat. Hi. How you doing? Thank you for the love and support. I try to support you all the time, but I be on the move all the time. But thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to stay in, hey, you're more than welcome. But you can stay in a relationship for maybe about 10 to 20 years, and you probably, part of you don't want to leave because it's something about that person, or it could be something that they bring to the table. But you don't want to leave because of the simple fact that they deliver something or something that you still have, and you don't want to let it go because you don't want to start nothing new. But it's really up to you if you want to choose to move on. It's up to you. If you don't want to move on, you got to think about the consequences of when you hold on to something. When you hold on to something, it's like a crutch. It's like a crutch. And a lot of us have that. A lot of us hold on to stuff because we don't want to try nothing new. Because when we try something new, it's almost like you have to go in the beginning and start over and do the levels of getting back to the point that you was with the other thing that you had. But sometimes when you do that, you get incredible things that's going to come from that. And some of us are scared to take that step to do that. Just like I said before, this can deal with YouTube as well. Hello, Food Forest. I don't want to butcher that name. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing this evening? If you was going to ask me how I was doing, I'm blessed. I'm always blessed. And sometimes, like being a YouTube creator, you might have sat there and thought about holding on to all these people that you've been having supporting you all this time. Hey, Killer. That's a deep name to call yourself. That's not, ooh. Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And when you wanted to hold on to those supporters, they have certain things that they can bring to the table. Like they can bring more supporters to your channel, and then they can do different things. Oh, sweetie, why you quitting? There's no quitting over here, girl. You can't be quitting. You can't quit. Do you know how many experiences that you can have up in here? If you part of this community, you cannot quit. Sorry, there's no quitting in here. You can't quit, girl. But if you have personal reasons why, because of my posts and my videos, well, if you want to continue your journey, you might have to try to switch it up, sweetheart. You might have to switch it up, Sunflower. But if it's other reasons why you can't continue your page, I wish you the best. But if I was you, sweetie, I would not quit. I would not quit this journey because it's a blessing to be on YouTube and you can find other things that you can do and find other niches. But if you choose to quit this, I wish you the best. And just always know that I'm on your side. I would miss you too, sweetie. I would miss you so much. And thank you for your love and your support. I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. What was I saying? Oh, I'm sorry. Basically, when you wanted to hold on to the supporters, hi PNC, when you wanted to hold on to the supporters, give up the sugar. Hey, no problem with that. But if you want to keep the supporters that you have that's on your channel, because they give you the support, but not only that, it's certain things you can balance that they can give you and then you can give them. Sometimes you want to hold on to the supporters because they give you those things. But then sometimes you have to overlook and look over the supporters and see what they are giving you and what are they taking from you. So you have to sit there and realize that if they taking more than giving to you, then you might have to get some more supporters that's going to support your channel. But if they are giving more than receiving, then okay, let me explain it because I might got it backwards. If they are receiving more than giving, then those are your supporters. Let me say that. But if they are sitting there taking more than giving, then that's a problem. That means that your supporters don't have your back. So that's what I mean by it's your choice. If you want to move on and find more supporters or find new friends or find a new relationship that you have. But the purpose of this live And to do what I'm saying and what I read to you is that everything is a choice. Whatever choice that you make, there are going to be trials and tribulations that you're going to have to deal with. But the thing about that is, if you want to take them trials and tribulations. Now, some people want to take trials and tribulations and some people don't. But the thing about that is, if you want to take the trials and tribulations, it's a beautiful thing that can come out of it. It could be a beautiful blessing that can come from out of it. But you would never know unless you take that chance to move on. But if you want to keep on staying in that space and the person and the supporters or a car, you got to keep on continuing in with whatever you got that's going on. And some of us is so content with that it's so comfortable. But see, you shouldn't always be comfortable of where you at now, because once you get comfortable, it start getting boring. It start getting, you know, it's not going to be interesting. So sometimes when you have to make a choice to move on or choose to move on, you have to realize that when you make those type of choices, you never know what can come from it. And then other people might sit there and think when they choose to move on, something negative is going to happen. But that's the thing that people need to understand, that whatever you do with the situation, don't think negative when you make that choice. Because when you make that choice and you think negative things is going to come out of it. So you have to keep that mindset that if I make this choice, what's going to come out of it? Maybe something positive is going to come out of it. Maybe I might sit there and get more supporters. Like if you get 10 supporters, right? And those supporters just leave, but then you end up coming back with 20. True. That is true, PNC. That's really true. But you never know. Whatever choice that you make, just think about it like this. Like I said, instead of thinking negative, great to make friends and fellows. You're very welcome. But instead of thinking negative, think about the positive of the situation. Think about what experiences, instead of thinking about the negative, think about the experience that you can have with choosing to move on. Think about the experiences that you have. Think about the changes that might happen in life that's good. Or maybe you should think how much growth I'm going to have in my community, or how much growth that I'm going to have within myself. And see, that's another thing that people don't realize either, is that when you choose to move on, that means you made growth. That means the experiences that you have been through is making you grow. And when you go through those experiences, and when you go through by making a choice to move on, that means that you can become more happier as well. So a lot of people just look at choosing to move on, like I said, most of the time in a negative way. But what the problem is with people now, when it comes down to certain things, with you choosing to move on, they look at it in a negative space of the fact that I got to go through this, I got to go through that, I got to do extra this, I got to do extra that, and I have to change this and change that, and I'm going to have to go through the unnecessary stuff. But then some of the stuff that you do is not unnecessary. Some of the stuff that you do could be a blessing that you are making for yourself, and God is trying to make that space for you so you can blossom up to do what you need to do and get what you need to get. That's all. That's what you have to think about too. See, once you put yourself, hey Lafita, how you doing? Hey Anthony, and happy belated birthday. Happy belated birthday. Happy belated birthday. I hope you had a blessing one. I am blessed. I'm always blessed. I am always blessed, and I hope you're blessed as well. But when you put that mindset, at some point I plan on leaving this and will exit with no regrets. That's understandable, PNC. That is understandable. I don't blame you for that. But I will miss you though. I will say that. I will be missing you like crazy. And basically, when you put God in the center of your life and give it to Him, anything is possible. And especially when you make the choice to move on, He's going to guide you through the way. And He always does. And that's another thing that people don't do. They don't sit there and put God in the center of their life so they can be able to make the decisions that they make. And God can guide you through that decision that you made. And then He can also guide you to whatever direction that you need to go. Like I said before in one of my lives, when you connect the dots, you can start the dots. But you have to let God do the rest. And once you make that choice to move on, that's when you start connecting the dots. But once you start connecting the dots, you got to let Him do the rest. Because once you make the decision to move on and let Him guide your way to whatever decision that you make, like I said, being in a relationship or deciding to get more supporters or get rid of some supporters or a job or getting a new house or getting a new car or building your credit. Whenever you make a decision, okay, you making that choice to do what you need to do. But once you make that decision, you cannot be afraid of whatever comes when you make that decision or you choose to move on. Because once you become afraid, that's when God is probably going to back off and be like, well, you asked for this, but if you don't want to go through, we can be like this. But it's better for you to take those steps, to choose to move on, because it's better blessings that coming through. There's better things that's going to come your way when you choose to move on. But if you want to stay where you at, that means you're comfortable. And you can't be comfortable with whatever you do. Your job, getting a new car, getting a new house. You can't always be comfortable of whatever is in your life. Because if you start something new and you choose to move on, it's all about being uncomfortable. Once you get uncomfortable, that means something is working. That means whatever you're doing and it's uncomfortable, that means it's something new. And when it's something new, that means you need to be comfortable. Because once you become uncomfortable, that means something is happening. And that means something is about to happen that's good. But see, sometimes when people feel like something is uncomfortable, they think it's something bad. No, it's just like having a pair of shoes. When you get those pair of shoes and you put them on your feet, they're going to feel uncomfortable in the beginning because they new. So once you start working them in, they stop being uncomfortable, and that's when it's comfortable. And then once it becomes comfortable, then that's when you get used to it. Life is not all about you always being comfortable. Life is all about you feeling uncomfortable so you could try something new. And especially if you're in a relationship and you gotta be exactly PNC. Exactly. That's why if you in a relationship and you saw and don't mean to get deep, but let's stay facts. Okay? If you've been in a relationship for 10 to 20 years and you've been so used to somebody sitting there mistreating you, somebody sitting there calling you names, somebody sitting there lifting the finger, touching you in a way that you should not be touched, or making fun of you. If you've been so used to that, but you so comfortable with that, then that means you need to make a choice. Is it if you want to be uncomfortable or not? Now that's when you have to make a decision if you want to be uncomfortable with that situation or be comfortable with it. But with that situation, you should feel uncomfortable because of the simple fact that you don't need that. You worth more than that. See, it's all about making decisions when to move on from something. But it's up to you if you want to make that decision. It's up to you. It's not up to anybody else to make that decision for you. So once you choose to move on, you have to realize that whatever stuff that you do when you want to move on, the situation is going to be uncomfortable. And once you get out of a relationship or whatever, like I said, whatever you start something new, it's going to be uncomfortable. That means you're going to have to start from scratch. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. But even though it's going to be uncomfortable, but at least you know that that means something good is about to happen. That means a blessing is coming through. The blessing is coming through. But it's up to you to make that decision. It's nobody else's decision but yours, because this is your life. Any decision you make, any decision that you make is up to you. And it's up to you to choose to move on. Just like I'm working confidence as without mix. If you have self-doubts. Absolutely. Exactly, PNC. Like, for example, I work an overnight job. Is it very uncomfortable? Yes, it is. It's very uncomfortable. But the one thing I don't have to impress anyone. You got that right, PMC. It's very uncomfortable. But the reason why it's uncomfortable, because it's something new. And that's the type of job that I never done in my life. I never worked overnight. I never have in my life worked overnight. Now, it has been times that I had job offers of doing overnight, but during that time, when my kids were babies, everybody used to tell me that, well, pretty hard, you can work an overnight, and all you got to do when you work overnight, you can work, and when you work overnight, you can just come back home and the babies will still be asleep, and then you good to go. Would you compare a new job to a pair of shoes for I know I get to talking PMC and I mix stuff up. It's just that's how I do it. Would you compare your new job to the pair of shoes reference? You just made me regard comparison. Yeah, I just get to talking so much. I know it can be confusing sometimes, PNC. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to confuse you. But it was uncomfortable for me at first. But now that I'm getting used to it, it's the fact that my kids are older and I was so attached. What do you say? No, it's not confusing. I understand. Okay. I didn't want to confuse you, sweetie. But when my kids got, because at that time when my kids were babies, sorry guys. At the time when my kids were babies, I was so attached to them, so that's why I never took the overnight job. But since they older and they are able to do what they need to do, um, I'm more comfortable with doing that. And then also the other reason why I'm doing it because it pays more. So, oh, thank you. I appreciate. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, but that's why I had decided to do that job because it pays more and it's overnight, and my kids are more older. So as I'm saying, it was uncomfortable for me in the beginning when my kids were little. But now since they teenagers, I'm more comfortable with doing it. At first, I wasn't comfortable, but it took me years to get comfortable. But in the beginning, I was uncomfortable because of the simple fact that my kids were babies and I didn't want to miss out on certain things that pertain to them. You know what I'm saying? Them growing up, or if they're going through growing pains, and they need to have someone to talk to. So at that time, I was uncomfortable. But now I'm comfortable doing it because I know I'm not missing out on that much stuff. And if my kids need to find a way to get in touch with me, then they can get in touch with me and I can tell them. Or we can FaceTime when I'm on my break. See, and those are the choices that you make in life too. You're going to have times that you are going to feel uncomfortable doing something at first. It's going to be something that you wanted to do something at first. But when years come down the line, pertaining, even if you have kids, down the line, you're going to end up doing it because it's more comfortable for you because you don't want to miss out on certain things with your kids. So that's when you decide when they get older, you're able to do those things because at least you won't be missing so much of everything that's going on. It's nothing wrong with choosing to move on. And the point that I'm trying to make to you is a lot of us don't want to move on with life. So sometimes in life, you're going to have to make a decision if you want to move on or if you want to stay where you're at. And a lot of us want to stay where we at because we are comfortable. But sometimes in life, you're going to have to get uncomfortable because that's what life makes life interesting. And it's hard for some of us to get uncomfortable. It's very hard because we've been so used to doing the same thing over and over and living in a house for years and having the same car for years. And then not only that, being in a relationship with someone for so many years that we so used to it that we feel that we can't move on. And you can, but you have to let God help you with that. And not only that, whatever life experiences that you've been through, it's going to teach you to choose to move on. Elevates allows you to see what you didn't think you might, and your success may take you places. Amen to that. So don't be afraid. Do not be afraid to choose to move on. You might find something beautiful. Beautiful. And when you find something beautiful, it could be a blessing. It could be a blessing. And I know that it's been a lot of things in my life that I didn't want to move on from. I didn't. I really did not. because I was afraid that if I didn't make that choice to move on, that I was going to miss out on something that was old. But as you can see, I have moved on to a lot of things. I chose to move on to a lot of things. I choose to move on from relationships that I thought that was good for me, but I choose to move on from it. I had chose to abort my horizons or doing something different career wise, because like I said, I always had did retail for 18 years of my life, but I chose to do something that pertains to housekeeping. And it's still part of customer service and it's still part of hospitality, but it's something that I never imagined myself doing at this age. But I love it. And I also have been in friendships that I thought that I would keep around because I was so connected to them. But I choose to move on from it because they wasn't helping me grow. They wasn't helping me build confidence. And then not only that, they did not help me as far as opening up my mind to different things. And you want to have that experience in life when you choose to move on. You want to have different experiences. You want to elevate. You want to uh, embrace your horizons and experience different things. So when you choose to move on, do not look at it in a negative light. Look at it as a positive thing. Because I promise you, if you choose to do different things by choosing to move on, you're going to get a blessing. But it might not be the blessing that you want. But it might be a blessing that you did not expect. And a lot of us been getting a lot of blessings this year on this YouTube channel. And they did not expect it. They knew they was close, but they got their blessing. Because they chose to move on and do something different. Hey! That's right, PNC. And that's why my theme this month is No Stress November. And that's another thing too. When you choose to move on, baby, that means you try not to have no stress either. Now, when you make that decision to move on, baby, you have less stress. Ha la la. You have less stress. You hear me? And that's a beautiful thing. When you choose to move on, when you choose to move on and make the decision to do what you want to do and try to expand your horizons and do whatever you want to do, that also minimizes stress. And it's a beautiful thing. Now, even though it might not seem like to people that whatever you decide you choose to move on, to them, they might think, well, whatever she's doing, that don't seem like less stress. But you're not in that person's shoes to tell them if they have less stress or not. The only way that you can find out if it's less stress is when you do it. Because just like with this job, to me, that I'm in, the job that I'm doing with housekeeping and mopping the bathrooms and all of that, because I used to do the trash, I used to pull the trash. Now I'm mopping bathrooms. Now, to me, it's not stressful. But in a way, it's very competitive, but it doesn't mean that it's stressful, but it's something different. But it's something different compared to working in a retail store and you speaking with customers. And I used to love doing that. I used to love doing that. But when I started doing the housekeeping, mopping the floors in the bathrooms, pulling trash and stuff, when you work overnight, that is less stress because you don't have to deal with people. You see what I'm saying? And the thing I'm trying to say is that when I chose to do housekeeping because I couldn't find anything that pertained to retail, when I chose to do overnight and be a housekeeper, the thing about it is that you don't have to deal with people, because when you deal with people, that's a lot of stress. So I made that decision to take that job. And then once I took that job, I started realizing when it came down to basically working overnight and you don't have to deal with people, how my main, when I figured out how to deal with people, I didn't have to deal with people. I was like, dang, this is kind of weird, because I was so used to dealing with people that when I would sit there and engage and sit there and be like, you can get this for such and such price because this is very valuable. This is very unique. You know, when you have to sit there and listen to people when they talk, and also not only that, you have to engage a whole lot. And I've been doing that for 18 years. Been doing that for 18 years. But now since I've been, hey Jeffrey, hi May. But when you start working overnight and you doing housekeeping, you got to mop the floors and you have to sit there and do that. You don't have to deal with people. That is so stress-free. So I made a choice. I made the choice to move on. Instead of sitting there trying to find a job in something that's hard in the market right now and I can't get, I decided to move on to housekeeping when I don't have to deal with people and I don't have to deal with the headaches and I don't have to deal with, I need a refund for this or I need a refund for that. And oh my God. And then people just be coming in with attitudes and stuff like, I want to bring this back because this don't work. Or they'd be like, excuse me, can I get this? And then you just be sitting there like really? Now, I'm not going to lie, it was stressful. It was really stressful. But I loved it. But when I realized that I couldn't find a job, excuse me, guys, my eyes are watering because my allergies is acting up. But when I realized that when I started doing housekeeping and I did it overnight and nobody wasn't in the building, I was sitting there thinking to myself, well, damn. Excuse my French, but damn. This is really peaceful. Now, don't get me wrong, but when some of the stuff that you do in there can be annoying, and then sometimes the manager can be annoying. But to be honest with you, I'd rather deal with that than to deal with people. But like I said, when you do the housekeeping and all of that, it's less stressful. It's less stressful because you don't have to deal with nobody. You don't have to deal with people. You don't have to, answer their questions. You don't have to deal with their attitude. And you don't have to deal with, what else you have to deal with when you have to deal with people? You don't have to deal with their attitude. You don't have to deal with, what else? What else we deal with when it comes down to people? Different things. Like, you don't have to deal with them. So when you work that type of job, it's less stress because you don't have to deal with people. So that was the choice that I chose to move on to. Was it the best choice? Only time will tell. There you go. I was looking for that, but it was on the tip of my tongue. Thank you, PNC. Exactly, their energy. There we go. You don't have to deal with their energy because every time when you deal with a person and you can feel, thank you, PNC. I really appreciate that. And whenever y'all get a chance, if y'all know PNC, check him out. He has a good channel. Check him out. I promise you. He gonna do you. He gonna make you feel good at the end of the day. I'm telling you. When you have to sit there and deal with people's energy, okay, you can feel their aura, you can feel their attitude, and then when you feel it, it's like it drains you. And that was another reason why I love the housekeeping that I'm doing right now, because of the simple fact that I didn't have to deal with people's energy. Now, like I said, I might have to deal with my manager, and I might have to deal with people that do the same thing that I do. But at least we on the same page. See, that's the difference between retail and working overnight housekeeping. Because at least when you are in that type of environment and you working with people and the other housekeeping people that you, how you doing? Protect your energy from your closer. Now, I'm going to say this. Somebody said something, the number one thing that I didn't expect to say. That's Hustle Man. Check out his channel, y'all. Check him out. But yes, by all costs, protect. They smile in your face. Facts. And that's true. But you do have to protect your energy at all costs. But like I said, even though me and the people are on the same page, nobody managed you, especially you. Who you answers is, damn, y'all on the ball tonight. Y'all killing me today. Woo! But like I said, even though the people that I work with, we might sometimes have, Miss Women, a handshake. A handshake doesn't always match the way that one speaks. You on the road tonight, PMC. You are on the road. Anthony, you need to put it. Okay. But yeah, but like, even though I work with people and everything, but at least we on the same page. We might have our moments that we might clash. But see, the thing is that the difference between when you work in retail with people and also compared to hospitality, I want to do your chain too, pretty. I mean, it's up to you. You can. You can. It's up to you if you want to. It's up to you. But the difference between retail and hospitality, the people that I work with, it's a small circle. But then when you work with the other group of people, it's different people that just, and they just go at it. All right, I will. Limit what you tell others. Also, because they just end up telling, you ain't lying about that one. Hustle Man just sent me. Hustle Man just sent me. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, I mean, it's a difference, you know, but you have to go by people's energy. Hello, Queen. How you doing, sweetie? Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But yeah, but there's a difference between what energy that you be around, and sometimes, you know, that's how it is, man. I'm telling you. So I'm telling you right now, man. you have to make a choice. You got to figure out what you choose to do. You have to figure out, I have to go, pretty. Got family call. You be safe, sweetie. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, but like I said, every time when you make a choice, you have to make sure love the light wins every time. Hey, you ain't lying about that. Be easy, PMC. But yeah, it's all about making choices in life. It's all about making choices in life. So you have to make a decision to move on. But like I say all the time, it's up to you what decision you want to make. But don't be afraid to make that decision. Because once you make that decision, you have to stick with it. But if you choose not to stick with it, you don't know what you can get from that. People, places, and things. Yep, all the above. But I will tell you this before I get off. Choosing to move on is a big step to do. It's a big step. And principles of darkness. Yep. Stick with your decisions. But when you make a decision in life, it takes courage to make that decision. But when you make that decision, always know that God is beside you when you make that decision. God is always by your side. And that's the number one thing that people be forgetting. Like I said before, when you choose to make that decision, you got to let God guide you. Like I said, connect the dots. But once knowing it isn't believing. And once you start connecting those dots, you can do a little bit of the dots, but you got to let God take over. And I promise you, if you let God take over, I promise you, at the end of the tunnel, something beautiful is going to come out of it. It is. Trust me. I know. Because I had a lot of beautiful things come out of the decisions that I've been making. A lot of them. And once those blessings had came from out of the decisions, stay down and come up. Yep. And once I had made those decisions and blessings came out of them, I would not be where I'm at today if I didn't do that. So, yeah, they do. But I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't make that decision to move on from some of the stuff that I've been through. But that was because I let God guide me through the way. And I think I made the best decisions of my life too. And I don't got no regrets doing that either. I don't. So that's my testimony. Now the question to you is, what's your testimony? What's going to make you choose to move on? You blessed. See. Thank you. So that's my question to you. Ask yourself, when you going to make the decision to choose to move on? And the answer, I cannot tell you. You can only figure that out yourself. And that's the most beautiful thing about it. And just know, make that decision. Because there's a beautiful thing behind it. And it's going to be a beautiful thing behind whatever you decide to do. Trust me. But on that note, I appreciate everybody that is in this chat and that was here in this live this evening. And if none of this stuff made sense to you, I am so sorry. I tried my best to make sense of it. And I would like to call out the people that was in my chat and give a shout out to the people that was there. I would like to give a shout out to Studios, Shamika, Lily, Tina, and Food Forest, Sunflower, PMC, Slim Jim Long, Lafita, I am Lafita, Anthony Holmes, 71. Who else? Lala, the High Vibe Coach Nutrition, my main, Jeffrey W., Hustle Man 5.0, the architect, Queen Alphamine, and that's all the people that was in my chat tonight. I truly appreciate y'all being here and your love and support. And until we meet again, I truly appreciate y'all, and I love the love and support of my community. I truly appreciate that. And as I always say, Pretty Heart the Conqueror. No, let me say it correctly. Pretty Heart the Conqueror is out. Thank you for your support. I'll see you again soon. Bye.